I'm Daniel Neutra. I'm 20 years old. Omer Neutra, my brother, turned 22 in captivity in Gaza almost 10 months ago on October 14th. On the day that I found out Omer was kidnapped, I was at college. My dad woke me up at 7 a.m. with a phone call telling me he hadn't heard from Omer since the night before. I spent the whole day in my dorm room reading the news and seeing gruesome images of the atrocities that were happening, wondering if he was okay, and I called him more times than I can remember. When I finally left my room to go eat something, I looked around and no one in the entire building seemed to know what had happened. It was like living in a different reality, and to this day, many Americans are completely unaware that 8 Americans are still being held hostage to this day. Omer is my best friend, and he's always someone I can talk to. And oftentimes, I find myself overwhelmed by the pressure of this situation and the bizarre reality. And my first reflex is to pick up the phone and talk to Omer, but of course, his WhatsApp still says last seen 10 months ago. Instead of speaking with Omer, my family flies around the world, and all of these families. We speak to politicians and the media, we beg for his life. Our lives have been halted and everything else is put on hold. My parents, they take sleeping pills just to get through the night. This is not sustainable. Yesterday, we heard of 2 more hostages that died in captivity after October 7th. That is not sustainable either. Each day is more dangerous and exhausting than the last. Last night, we met Prime Minister Netanyahu again. I have to say, the urgency of the matter did not seem to resonate with him. He did not answer when we asked him why he's only sending his negotiators to keep the process going on Thursday instead of days ago. We must continue to put pressure on all parties involved, including Hamas, to accept this deal now before more people die in captivity. I don't know when was the last time Omer ate, when he saw the sun, or if he smiled in the past 10 months, or if he has enough air to breathe in those tunnels. I don't know if he hears me, if he knows we're fighting for him for 291 days, 7,000 hours, each hour feeling like a year. We can and he can't wait forever. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I'll be meeting with the Prime Minister, and I will certainly bring up this issue.
Israeli army and all the forces there say that they are ready to deal with the consequences of release of any dangerous terrorists. And we have to believe that they know what they're doing. And there's, on October 7, created a situation that we've never been there. 240 people were taken. 120 are still in captivity, among them 8 American. Also to remind here that 45 Americans were murdered on October 7. So this is not merely an Israeli problem, it's an American problem just as well. And Israel is really on the defense line of the modern world, the Western world, and fighting the war. And our children are there, our families are there. And it's a unique opportunity. I'd like to thank the representatives here that support us all along in this tough struggle, and believe that you have a very unique opportunity to speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu and press him to use the unique opportunity right now when Hamas seems to be on their knees to accept the deal, bring our loved ones home, and then, when the time comes, eliminate Hamas and deal with a real octopus head, as we all know it, Iran, because this is the real issue. And that's where we have to focus our efforts in the future. Thank you.
Mr. Polin.
I'd like to also add a response. There's no question that releasing terrorists is a terrible, heavy price to pay. But in addition to the security apparatus of Israel saying we can handle it, Israel is a modern democracy. It is not a theocracy, but religion plays an important role. And it's important, I think, to point out that leading rabbis in Israel, the chief rabbi of Israel, have looked through a Jewish lens on this issue of releasing terrorists and said, there's no question that to save a life today, to bring home hostages today, even if it means increasing a future potential risk of those terrorists, the answer is clear. Jewish law says bring them home even at that price. So that also is something that is clear and should not be holding anybody back.